So I just finished at the second library. So I went to, no, third library. So I went to two libraries and then went to the community pantry, and then just stopped at the last library. And what it is that after this, like after I make all these rounds, I'm like, I'm not going anywhere else. Basically I'm not gonna go, like, I'm done, basically. I won't be going out and getting any more pantry stuff, like nothing for like until after school. So yeah, the reason why is because I'm pretty much done. The driving's fine. It's just that it uses a lot of gas. And so because I'm like right now, I started around 3. What time did I start? Like 2:30, and I'm still going an hour and a half later. Oh, thanks. Appreciate you so much. Oh, there's a guy in a Batmobile. That's a guy and a girl. He has a gray beard. He probably is in his 40s or so. But yeah, so what was it? Yeah, so it's taken me at least an hour and a half. And now, while I was at one location, I was like, yeah, basically I'm in school, and like they only gave me like 5 hours last week, and then this week I worked a few hours, but it's not very much. And so what was it? The lady was like, wow, 5 hours. Like, I'm like, yeah, I know, right? It's not much at all. And so she went ahead and gave me 2 locations. One of them has food that they hand out on Fridays. So I'm gonna see if I can call them maybe today. No, she said that they don't have a phone number. So what I'll do is that I may try and stop by tomorrow and see what kind of food they have. They basically hand it out on Fridays from 1 until like 3, I think. And then she did mention another church that's like another location. I'm heading there now. It takes me about 31 minutes there. So basically this whole thing is going to take me a few hours, but it's like that. How much am I spending gas? So far it's probably a good like maybe $20. But the amount of gas that I spend versus how much stuff I'm getting, it's probably a good maybe $40 worth or more. So I do save at least a little bit of money. And from what I understand, the other location that I'm going to, it's in front of a church, and she also explained that sometimes they have fresh produce like potatoes. And I'm like, okay, so potatoes are good. I know sometimes I've heard of some places they'll also have other fresh produce. And so at the very least, if it's fresh like potatoes, I'll be able to make french fries with it. I'm not sure what else. Oh, no, I'm good. I can go straight. So I may do something like that. Yeah, and then what was something else that I noticed? So fresh produce. So that was what she mentioned. And then I just finished off at the last library. And at the last library, I was like, hi, how are you? And I was talking to a lady who like recognized me. I'm like, I'm gonna go and like look at the audiobooks. And so they ended up having like a bunch of audiobooks. Thankfully, audiobooks at that particular location were only 50 cents each. So I got MP3 audiobooks because I know that they will last a lot not last a lot longer. Basically, I don't have to change out the audiobook as often. So I'm basically going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to basically listen to audiobooks. I guess whenever I take these long trips, or like basically take like 2 hours in order to drive around. So I'm going to do that. And then what else is there? Chinos. Basically, so yeah, I have audiobooks that were 50 cents each, so I was like, yay. And then some of them are Jack Reacher. This was also free. So I got Jack Reacher, 2 audiobooks of Jack Reacher, and then a couple, like maybe 4 or 5 audiobooks that have to do with Bosch, Bosch. I know that was it became actually 2 TV series. First TV series I think was in the 80s or 90s. It looks like probably 80s for the Harry Bosch series. And then it came again probably about 5-10 years ago with a different guy. And it has like a guy with a rough sort of smoker's voice. So basically they both have that, but like 2 different series, 2 different decades. I smell food. It smells like Chinese. I love being able to smell food. So I see a donut place, but that's not Chinese. So yeah. I also found, was it hard shell taco stuff, which I'm happy about. I also finally found 3 things of ragu sauce. So one is like a normal ragu sauce, another one's a Parmesan and something ragu, and then the other one is meat, like a meat ragu sauce. And I'm like, I finally found some ragu sauce. I'm very happy about it because like it's hard, I guess, to find that. So yeah, I'm very happy that I was able to finally find some. So yeah. So yeah, I finally found some, which I'm happy about. What else is there? Yeah. So I'm definitely happy about that. What else is there? I'm looking at the map while I'm like talking. Yeah, so I found 3 things of that. Box of cereal, which cereal's not cheap. I also found some couscous. Basically, I've seen some people, they'll like put tomatoes or cucumbers in them. I wonder, like, yeah, I wonder if how people make couscous. I remember eating it because the lady should go ahead and fix it. If that's the case, I also need to get olive oil. So I have regular like vegetable oil, but I don't think I have olive oil, and olive oil tastes amazing in my opinion. And then sometimes people, I need to double check to see if people put like cucumbers and tomatoes in it, and if so, that will be amazing. So yeah, it's a sunset. And then what else is there? Yep. Oh, yeah, anyways. So, while I was in the last library, going back a little bit, is that I was talking to the lady. I was like, hi, how are you? And she's like, I'm tired. I was like, what time do you go to bed? And she's like, 9. And I was like, what time do you wake up? And she's like, 5. I was like, okay, that's really odd. And I just looked at her like, and I know some people are like, oh yeah, you know, I totally understand, it's a long day or whatever. And I'm just like, no, this is the library. Like, something's really off. And so I was like, I would go to a doctor. And it could be anything, like, honestly. It could be that she needs, and because I don't know her personal lifestyle, I do know that she goes to bed at a decent time, she wakes up at a decent time, which is wonderful. But like, I'm like, you're tired. And like, I was like, I would go to a doctor because it could be like your B12 levels are low or something. Or what was another thing? So there was that. So B12 levels. I was like, it could be that. And I was like, if it's just hormones, and then I would, and they're like, okay, whatever. Then I would be like, go ahead and tell them to write it down in your folder or in your file, and then go to a different doctor. That's what I told her, because it's like, no. And I explained that it could be hormones, like maybe, but I would go ahead and get tested, like just to see exactly what's going on. And I explained to her, like, if it's due to money, where you're like, okay, I can't really afford much, I would definitely call like the hospitals and see if there's like a free or very cheap clinic that you can go to. Because yeah, I'm just like that, like, especially if it's like you're tired and you're still getting at least 8 hours of sleep, then I'm just like, yeah, something's really off with that. Like, you need to definitely get that checked out, because yeah, you shouldn't, especially if you're getting enough sleep, have at least 8 hours. I did explain, like, it could be that your body does need like 10 hours of sleep and not just 8, but like, I would definitely get that checked out, since like you should be okay, and yet you're still tired. And so yeah, I was just like, yeah, something's off with that. But yeah, hopefully, I really hope she is able to get tested. I know sometimes due to like work or like other stuff going on, you're not able to, but I'm like, she's going to bed at a decent time. She's waking up like with enough hours, supposedly. I mean, like, in other words, her body might be like 8 hours is good, or like other times her body might be like 8 hours is not good for me right now. So I honestly don't know. So hopefully she's able to like get herself tested and find an answer, because I'm like, this shouldn't be happening. Now, I did explain, it could be hormones, but then also it could be vitamin B12, because I still remember one of my previous roommates, she was like, she would take vitamin B. She was tested, and they're like, oh yeah, you're low on vitamin B12. And so at first she was taking like a weekly pill for vitamin B12, like 1,000 milligrams, which is enough for a while, from what I understand, vitamin B12. And then like, it wasn't enough. Like, she came in order to be tested to see if her body was absorbing it, and it wasn't enough. And so, excuse me, she ended up having shots done, and I was like, it could be really honestly anything. So yeah, hopefully. And then also, I do know another lady, I remember years ago, she was like, yeah, basically I've gone to a doctor for years and they can't figure out what's wrong, but like every year around like winter season or so, they basically are like, yeah, we can't figure out what's wrong. Like, she ends up being in pain, walking becomes hard and all that. And I was like, okay. And she mentioned about that, and I was like, I would go to a different doctor, like, just because, especially if a doctor, so doctors are very, and my phone's about to die. I understand that doctors are very, very human, and they make mistakes. And sometimes, like, if one doctor has one thing in mind, another doctor might have, like, and they're like, okay, we can't figure it out. I usually like to go to a different doctor in order to be like, okay, what's the solution? There's another solution. I just know there is. And so I was like, yeah, go ahead. I would go to a different, yeah. And I was like, okay, you've been to this doctor for years. They still haven't found out the solution to it. Okay, I'm looking. Okay, so I still have 9 miles. I'm like, I would go to a different doctor, because basically you've been to this doctor for years. They still haven't found a solution. Yeah, no, I was like, you need to go to a different doctor. And so, simply because, I've read stories, and like, I'm like, okay, and charging. I'm like, okay, there has to be a different solution to this. a doctor has to have an answer. And so she went ahead and, like, what was it? There we go. I was like, okay, there has to be a solution to this. So I went ahead and, like, told her to go to a different doctor. She finally went to a different doctor, a pediatrician. And then whenever she went to pediatrician, they're like, oh yeah, your B12 levels are low. So she started taking, like, B12 vitamins, and then whenever she took B12 vitamins, like, she was good. She was no longer in pain whenever she was walking. And I was like, good, like, you needed to go to a different doctor. So yeah. Also, like, I'm glad that you enjoy my stories, and then also I'm glad that you enjoy just me being, like, strong-willed and outspoken and all that. I actually so somebody asked me today, so I think they asked me, they're like, oh, you lived in 6 different states, that's a lot. And I was like, yeah. And I started telling them, like, I went to one place due to college, and then I went to another place for an internship. I moved to another state because, like, life got hard. And then from there, I went to, where else did I go? And then I went to another state due to, like, a job. And then after that, I was given a job promotion at another state. And then after I was done, he's like, whew, that's a lot. Or that took a long time. And I'm like, yeah, boost of self-confidence. All right. Sarcasm fully intoned, fully meant. Like, I'm like, you didn't have to say that. That was actually kind of mean. So, yeah. Like, that kind of sucks. Like, I'm telling you where all the different places I've been to. Like, it sounded as though you were interested. But turns out I was totally wrong. So basically you just wanted to know the states and not why. Without the emotional connection, just states, no emotional connection. Yeah, I've been to da-da-da. Because usually the next question after I tell people, yeah, I've been to this state and this state, people are like, so why? So yeah, I'm like, thanks, dude, so much. I definitely gave her vote of confidence. Yeah. I really need to have this fixed. What is that as my windshield wiper is going, it does not go over this one spot. It goes over the rest of the windshield, not this one spot. Maybe I can ask my parents, hey, can you guys, like, get this fixed? Because, yeah, my dad, I remember years ago, my dad was like, oh, you need to go ahead and replace the windshield wipers. So I got them replaced. It fixed nothing. Like, it still had the problems. And so I remember I took it to another guy. I was like, yeah, basically the windshield wipers, they are not scraping over that one spot. So they had to adjust them. I don't know what's going on. It happens in, like, I've owned 3 vehicles, and it's happened in 2 of those 3 vehicles. And I'm just like, why? Oh, stink, stank, stunk, don't drive drunk. That's literally on the sign for one of these billboards. That's a fun play on words. It really, really is. So, yeah. But, yeah. What else? Whee! But, yeah, right now I'm going to in front of a church that supposedly has food. So yeah, I'll be going down there. So yeah, I'm also thinking about, because I don't know which state, I don't know if I will be going to a state in order to get married, or if I will be going to a different state. I don't know. My thing is, like, whenever my prince comes, then I will be like, I will follow you. Yes, sir. is that I'm trying to think of like what job I could get, maybe. So it could be, I was thinking, like I've talked to some people and they're like, yeah, I'm a substitute teacher. So I know that is definitely like one job I can do. Oh, $2.19 for gas. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. $2.19. Yes, $2.19. I was thinking like $2.20 something, but like seeing that $2.19, I'm like, holy cow, that is nice. But yeah, so what else is there? I think that's really about it that I can think of as for now. But yeah, I'm going down to the church, see if I can pick up any food, and then maybe tomorrow going over to this other ministry, because I miss, like, one church is only on, like, I think the second Tuesdays, another church is like Mondays, another church is Wednesdays. So I'm gonna see if they have anything. I don't know. I think it's like you go in and it's a food pantry type deal. So it's the last Friday of every week. So I'm gonna see if I can maybe grab some food. If that's the case, I'm gonna see if I can be there around like 12. Or I'm sorry, take that back. I'm gonna leave around 12. Maybe, possibly. But then also at the same time, and then that way hopefully I can get some food. So it was busy where they're like, hey, we need drivers. And then I'm wondering, because it is the end of the year, if people are going to be like, yeah, I want to go ahead and order food and such. So I'm wondering if tomorrow morning is going to also be busy. If that's the case, then I'm going to wake up early-ish, and then head off to work and be like, I'm here, hi, what's up? So yeah. So I'm behind a car because, you know, it's traffic light, and one of the car in front of me has a few stickers, and I like to read them, and it says, don't honk at me, my dad is dead. It's horrible, but it's hilarious. Okay, what does graphic design is my passion, and something else, I can't see it, it's on the left side. And I think my lights are like in the center instead of on the left side. So let's see. I mean, it's center / right. So I'm going to see if I can see that. Okay, so on the left it says, I don't know. But yeah, that's funny. Don't honk at me, my dad is dead. It's also like, it probably is true, but it's so unexpected. I did not expect it to say that. Don't honk at me, my dad is dead. Maybe it's trying to pull out the guilt trip. I don't know. I remember what was it? I still remember seeing this video where basically this a guy in a truck, he pulls up behind this car, and the car actually has a bumper sticker on it, and it says, honk if you love the devil. And so it's parked, you know, not parked, but I think the light turns from red to green, and the truck behind the car honks, and then because it's a green light now, and then next thing you see is like the trunk open up and a man dressed like Jesus is in there. It's like, are you sure you love the devil? Here I am. I was like, that's hilarious. It was really, really funny. So yeah, I was like, that's great. Example The truck honked, pulled his horn. So yeah, that was great. I liked it. Excuse me. Anyways, I think that's it for now. Ooh, here come the popo. The popo is passing by. Bye, popo. Anyways, yeah, I think that's it. I will talk to you later. I hope that you have a great day. Okay, for whatever reason, like, the traffic is stopped. Wonder why. Oh, okay, so somebody is like, I think somebody is like stalled in the middle of the road, so we're having to all go around. Go. Okay. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, somebody stalled in the road. Oh, or a car accident. Oh my goodness. So it looks like the truck was going, the lady, it looks like an older lady, she was not paying attention to what was happening in front of her, and she ended up hitting the semi truck. And I say that because it's a semi truck. Like, it's kind of hard to miss, basically. And so her like front area and front grill basically is destroyed and bent in. So basically the semi-truck driver is having to take photos of what happened for the insurance. So yeah, that's why you pay attention to the front. Indeed. So yeah, anyways, I think that's it for now. I will be at my destination in looks like the next maybe 8 minutes, less than 10 minutes basically. So yay. And then after that I'm totally going back to the dorm and going to be eating food. Oh, I need to stop by Taco Bell. The reason why, we have frozen burritos. We've had these burritos since around Thanksgiving, and yeah, I'm like, you know what, we really need to eat these burritos. So I'm basically going to stop by a Taco Bell and like get some salsa so I can have this with my frozen burritos, because we've had this for a while. So yeah, but yeah, I really hope there's food that I can cook and enjoy. But yeah, anyways, I hope that you have a great day. Let me know if there's anything else you want to talk about, and I will be able to respond. I'll respond as soon as I can. So yeah, I think that's it. So yeah. Ooh.